studying your last two. I swim med when turned in. The styren down to mute. And can learn the pole that sunk he died.
For many years, payroll calculations were performed manually using payroll deduction tables. Tax preparers would look up tax amounts, calculate deductions by hand, and work through multiple pages of reference material to determine an employee's net pay. While that approach was common in the past, modern professional practice relies heavily on payroll software. This slide illustrates the difference between the traditional method and the professional method used today. On the left side, we see the traditional payroll table approach. The preparer must manually review payroll deduction tables, calculate amounts using printed references, verify rates, and ensure the correct information is being applied. This process can be time-consuming and increases the possibility of calculation errors. Manual payroll calculations become even more challenging when dealing with bonuses, irregular payroll amounts, commissions, taxable benefits, or changes in tax rates. In addition, payroll tables require constant updating. Whenever tax rates, CPP limits, EI rates, or legislative rules change, the preparer must ensure they are working with the most current information. As payroll complexity increases, so does the risk of mistakes. Now compare that to the payroll software approach shown on the right side of the slide. Modern payroll software automatically applies current tax rates and payroll formulas. It calculates income tax deductions, CPP contributions, employment insurance premiums, and other payroll items with speed and consistency. Software also handles situations that are often difficult to calculate manually, such as bonus payments, irregular compensation, and year-end payroll adjustments. Beyond calculations, payroll software often supports T4 preparation, payroll reporting, remittance tracking, and record retention. This creates a more complete payroll administration system, rather than simply a calculation tool. Another major advantage is efficiency. What might take significant time using payroll tables can often be completed in minutes using software. This allows tax preparers to spend less time performing calculations and more time reviewing results, advising clients, and managing compliance. However, it is important to remember that software does not eliminate professional responsibility. Software improves speed and accuracy, but it still depends on the quality of the information entered into the system. Incorrect employee data or incorrect payroll inputs can still produce incorrect results. The goal is not simply automation. The goal is using technology to improve accuracy, efficiency, compliance, and scalability while maintaining professional oversight. That is why modern tax preparers overwhelmingly choose payroll software over payroll tables. The software performs the calculations. The professional ensures the results make sense. This combination of technology and professional judgment represents the modern standard for payroll administration. Now that we've seen why payroll software is preferred over payroll tables, let's look at how professionals actually use payroll software to calculate payroll accurately and efficiently. One of the biggest misconceptions about payroll software is that professionals simply enter a number and let the software do the rest. In reality, there is a structured workflow that must be followed to ensure accurate results. The process begins with employee setup. Before any payroll can be calculated, the employee's information must be entered correctly into the system. This includes personal information, the employee's province of residence, social insurance number, payroll frequency, and information from their TD1 forms. This step is extremely important because payroll calculations are only as accurate as the information entered into the system. Once the employee profile has been established, the next step is entering compensation information. This includes salary, bonuses, commissions, allowances, and any other amounts that will be paid through payroll. The software needs complete compensation information before it can determine the correct deductions. After compensation details have been entered, the software performs the calculations automatically. Using current tax rates and payroll formulas, the system calculates income tax withholdings, CPP contributions, employment insurance premiums, and any other applicable deductions. This is one of the biggest advantages of payroll software. Complex calculations that would take considerable time manually can be completed almost instantly. However, professional work does not stop when the software finishes calculating. The next step is reviewing the results. This is where professional judgment becomes critical. The tax preparer reviews the payroll summary and verifies that the numbers make sense. Gross pay should agree with the intended compensation amount. Tax deductions should appear reasonable. CPP and other deductions should be consistent with expectations. Any unusual amounts or unexpected results should be investigated before payroll is processed. Once the results have been reviewed and approved, payroll can be processed. Payments are issued to employees through direct deposit or other approved methods. At this stage, payroll moves from calculation to actual execution. After payroll has been processed, attention shifts to reporting and record keeping. Payroll reports are generated, records are maintained, remittance information is preserved, and year-end reporting requirements such as T4 preparation are supported by the software. Notice the key message at the bottom of the slide. Software performs the calculations. The professional reviews the results. That single sentence captures the entire philosophy of professional payroll administration. The software provides speed, consistency, and automation. The tax preparer provides judgment, experience, and oversight. Neither works effectively without the other. Successful payroll administration is not about replacing professional expertise with technology. It is about using technology to eliminate repetitive calculations while allowing professionals to focus on accuracy, compliance, and decision-making. That combination of software and professional review is what creates reliable payroll results and helps ensure CRA compliance. One of the most important lessons for any tax preparer is understanding the difference between using software and relying on software. Payroll software is an incredibly powerful tool. It can perform complex calculations in seconds, apply current tax rates automatically, calculate CPP and employment insurance deductions, and generate payroll reports with remarkable efficiency. However, software does not replace professional judgment. This slide illustrates the three-stage review process that separates professional payroll administration from simple data entry. The first stage is software output. After payroll information has been entered, the software generates payroll calculations. It produces a payroll summary showing gross pay, income tax deductions, CPP contributions, employment insurance premiums, other deductions, and the resulting net pay. One of the greatest strengths of payroll software is consistency. The software applies current rules and formulas automatically, helping reduce mathematical errors and improving efficiency. But generating numbers is only the beginning. The second stage is professional review. This is where the tax preparer adds real value. Rather than blindly accepting the software output, the professional carefully reviews the results. Was the bonus entered correctly? Does the CPP calculation appear reasonable based on the employee's earnings? Is the amount of tax withheld consistent with expectations? Does the net pay make sense? Are there any unusual deductions or unexpected results? Could there be any CRA compliance concerns? These questions are critical because software can only calculate based on the information it receives. If incorrect information is entered, the software will still produce a result, but that result may be incorrect. This is why professional review remains essential. A skilled tax preparer uses experience, judgment, and knowledge of payroll rules to evaluate whether the software's output is reasonable and accurate. Once the review is complete, the process moves to the third stage, final approval. At this point, payroll is approved and processed. Payments are issued. Payroll records are maintained. Year-end reporting requirements are supported, and the information becomes part of the corporation's permanent payroll history. The ultimate goal is accurate payroll, complete records, and full CRA compliance. Notice the warning highlighted on the slide. Software can calculate incorrect results if incorrect information is entered. This is one of the most important concepts for new practitioners to understand. Technology can automate calculations, but it cannot automatically verify business decisions, identify every data entry mistake, or exercise professional judgment. Bad input creates bad output. Incorrect employee information leads to incorrect calculations. Incorrect calculations can lead to incorrect decisions, and incorrect decisions can create compliance risks. That is why successful tax professionals use software as a tool rather than a substitute for expertise. The key takeaway is simple. Technology improves efficiency. Professional judgment ensures accuracy. When these two elements work together, payroll becomes faster, more reliable, more compliant, and more valuable to clients. That is the standard every professional payroll administrator should strive to achieve.